So today, lads, we're going to be giving an update on Caitlin Clark's injury. So, lads, today Chloe Peterson has been talking about it. Again, I'm a little bit late. I haven't been home a lot of the day. I've been out and about doing a lot of stuff, as you guys can tell. Still not home. So, yeah, once we get back tomorrow, videos should be kind of back to normal before the big game is Liberty Saturday. But we can hear from Stephanie White and from Sophie Cunningham about it, and then also what I'm going to be talking about in this video mainly. So let's take a listen to Sophie Cunningham first. Means her injury, she might be back.
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. I think I'm just trying to get full clearance for Saturday, but so far so good.
How frustrating was it for you to recover from one and then immediately have another?
You have no idea. I felt good coming in training camp. Felt like I was in the best shape I've been in since being in the league. Kind of getting the flow with the team, then you get hurt pretty bad, torn up ankle.
Yeah, and to be fair, she was killing it in preseason. She was their best player by a mile in the first game of preseason. She was absolutely killing it. So yeah, I could see why I'd be pissed off.
Maybe came back a little bit too soon, freak accident, so really can't control it, so I just got to keep controlling what I can control. And that was bringing energy to my team, and so I'm still going to do that regardless of where I'm at.
What have you been able to do in the interim to try to keep some cardio, try to get shots up, if anything?
Yeah, when the situation I have going on, you have to be a little bit careful with it, but I think I've been progressing really well every single day, and I'm pretty much full go now, so it's that.
That is a big That's a big positive. Like I don't see Sophie Cunningham playing Saturday, and I'll talk a little bit why about that later. But I would assume she's gonna be right Tuesday for the Sun game.
I know you talked about getting your lungs under you after you injured your ankle the first time. Has it been about the same process the second time?
Yeah, I think so. And it's when you've been out for a little bit, it's just kind of getting your flow back, right? Getting your rhythm, getting your chemistry, especially with the team that you haven't really played with much. It's trying to learn how they're moving and how they're clicking. And then you kind of throw me and Caitlin back in there, and it's like we're starting from square one again. And so that's the fun thing about this team is that we roll with the punches. We're trying to get all that stuff out of it at the beginning of the season so we can peak at the right time.
When you're a team with championship aspirations anyway, when you see the other occupants of this building literally playing for one here, how much more inspiration is there? How much more does that sort of fuel the fire?
Okay, so to be fair, like that's not really better injury, so we can you can look at Sophie or Chloe Peterson's Twitter if you want to see the full interview there. Let's take a listen to what Stephanie White says here as well.
And how do you anticipate status being for?
Yeah, I mean, we limited their reps, but really tried to get him up and down the floor a little bit, starting to try to get into game rhythm, game speed, game pace, timing a little bit off, rhythm a little bit off, but continuing to try to work them in as much as we could.
How have you tried, it's been such a disruptive first month, how have you tried to help this team navigate that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just understanding that, we have opportunity to grow through some circumstances that might not be ideal.
Just stop saying that. Please stop saying that. Everything is finding your identity, opportunity to grow, and then you go out on the floor and play and walk the ball down the floor. You walk the ball down the floor for 3 quarters and talk about this being an opportunity to grow and find your identity. If anything, it should have been an opportunity to get the team to learn how to play fast without Caitlin Clark on the floor. And in fact, you did the exact opposite of that.
The ball's getting in other people's hands outside of Caitlin because she's not on the floor, and how are we able to get one another in positions to be successful? Players are getting minutes that might have been limited with both Caitlin and Sophie out. I think the other piece is really
there's one player that's getting minutes that we're limited with Caitlin and Sophie out. And that player is Sydney Colson, who should not be getting major minutes, let's be real.
balancing overuse for players like Kelsey and Lexi and trying to get them rest and things like that. But, we got to maintain perspective. We can only control what we can control, and we want to make sure that we're still continuing to grow and get better in areas. And then when we reintegrate them, then we have to be patient and give grace while allowing ourselves to continue to grow now with them.
Yeah, they're not playing Saturday. They're not playing Saturday. Let's be honest here. They're not playing Saturday. Like we heard Stephanie White talking about the quad injury in preseason, and suddenly Caitlin plays. She's like 75%. She's 75% coming into the season, and the fact she's averaging 19 and 9.3 at 75% is crazy. But like Sophie Cunningham just trying to get to play, but the thing is she pushed through too quickly earlier on in the season for an injury. And the big thing is right here, Ari McDonald. So you can see Ari McDonald's there. Ari McDonald is there. So it's not just Caitlin Clark. Or sorry, it's not just Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, but Ari McDonald's there. And a lot of people are like, but like if Caitlin's gonna play, there's no point getting rid of Ari McDonald in case Caitlin doesn't play, but there is. There is. Every day Ari McDonald's on the Fever roster, she eats into the salary cap. So the fact that she's on the roster right now means it's probable she's playing Friday because they played their last game on Tuesday. They played their last game Tuesday night. So ideally you would have cut her on Wednesday. If Caitlin and Sophie were going to be cleared, you would have cut her on Wednesday. Because those 4 or 5 days eaten into the salary cap means it's 4 or 5 days earlier that you can bring in a 12th player, and that could be 2 games earlier. That could be 2 games earlier with the 12th player. So it is an important one. And again, you can bring in that 12th player before Dantas goes off to AmeriCup. You can bring in that 12th player, but let's be real. Obviously, they're not going to cut Bree Turner. I didn't realize that she was a treasurer of the WNBPA, which probably does make her uncuttable, to be honest. So I'm not going to blame Amber Cox and stuff for that. But like, are we going to hear from Caitlin? She's not available today. We'll be talking to Sophie. Where's DB? Out for personal reasons. That's not ideal. That's not ideal at all. But I don't care. Like, I trust Dawana Bonner to be fine on Saturday. Like, she's a vet. She's a vet. I trust her to be fine. But basically, Sophie being like, I'm trying to get full clearance. We're playing full speed. Where Stephanie White just goes, their reps are limited and they're starting to run up and down. They're not playing. Like, this is as good as saying they're not playing. So in a roundabout way, they're not playing Saturday. No. So no Liberty game. They won't give an answer. She says one thing, the press eats it up, doesn't follow through with her coaching on what she says. CC, I bet Not Smart will come in, go 40 minutes. Tired of White playing slow ball. Like, this is the best chance the Fever are going to ever have of beating the Liberty because John Quell's out and Phoebish is out. Their one like major matchup that they have a huge advantage in is John Quell. Like, we can't live with John Quell. Stewie's forgot how to shoot. Like, we can live with Sab. We've survived Breanna plenty of times. And the big difference is that Leo Phoebish is just not, like, you can't replace a 6'4", 6'7" wingspan athletic defender who shoots 40% from 3. Like, you just can't replace that player. So with those players gone, with their backup center being Kennedy Burke right now, Izzy Harrison having to play big minutes, like, this is a legit chance where the Liberty are weakened. Like, I think the Dream are going to beat the Liberty in the Commissioner's Cup. I think the Commissioner's Cup final is now probably going to be Dream versus, are the Mercury undefeated? The Storm still have to play the Aces. Or did the Storm kill the Aces? Or the Aces only beat the Storm once and the Storm killed the Aces once. I don't even know. But it's the Storm, Aces, and the Aces are done. I don't know when AJ Wilson's going to come back. But yeah, this is probably our best chance. But look, it's early on in the season. You can afford to go 4-6 through 10 games. You can afford to go 4-6 through 10 because your next 2 games are against the Sun and the Valkyries with half of their team missing. It's the Valkyries with no Temi, no Janelle Salone, no Julie Vanloo, no Chechi Zandalasini. So, like, that team's terrible. So you've got 2 very easy games to get the 6-6. And then you have a decent run where it's like, and you play like the Aces, the Storm, the Wings, kind of at the end of this month. And I'm like, it's a good schedule. Like, if they come into the All-Star break 2 games over 500, the Fever are fine. They're even in and around 500. Look, I said this, if the Fever can get into the All-Star break as a 5th seed, I think I said it in preseason that there's a possibility for that. And that's fine because the reality is there are two teams that are way better than everybody else, and then there's the rest. And the Fever are 2 games behind the rest, so anything can happen. But anyway, highly unlikely she plays Saturday.